Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Kim. I'm the Tantric lawyer. I've just written a book, Confessions of a Tantric Lawyer, a unique guide to magnetize your magical life. The book will be out on Amazon on the 17th of December, and that will be in the morning, Bali time, where I am at the moment. There's just a beautiful pool in the background. So that's Bali time, that's Perth time. It will be available 2 hours earlier, Eastern Standard Time, Australia. And otherwise you can check your time zones. I'll be doing lives at that time, and I'll also be having a free Facebook group that there'll be links below for you to join. If you'd like to join, you'll get a free gift from me, which will be a little fun quiz for you to do, and other ways that you can connect if you'd like to stay and join the community, which if you do feel like you'd like to do, you are very, very welcome. So first of all, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video about who I am. What is a tantric lawyer anyway, and how can a tantric lawyer help me in my life or my business? So my story is that I'm from Australia, and I have been a lawyer and a complementary therapist for 35 years. So I've had a dual career, and I brought the skills together during COVID. I've done numerous complementary therapy courses, including a 3-year School of Energy Healing training in the UK, which was 2000 to 2004 when I joined the teacher training program and taught on the school for 3 years. So we did all kinds of subjects, including naturopathy and tantra and all kinds of energy healing techniques. And from there, I became a tantric therapist. So I had, as I said, a dual career. I start in law. So I started as a full-time lawyer, and I worked in many different jurisdictions. I would say I've covered pretty much most or all of the jurisdictions in law, all the specialties that are possible, including city firms, country firms, and specialty firms in Australia, and I was practiced in London as well. So that's me. And how can a tantric lawyer, what is that anyway, and how can those skills help? So what I find from my 35 years in law is that many people come to a lawyer. When they come, they're confused about what they want, and they also have some fears, some emotion around law, and they might have a dispute with somebody. It might be their ex-partner, it might be their business partner or their ex-business partner, and what they're wanting to know is what are their rights, what are they entitled to, where do they stand, and what can get in the way is the emotions, the fears, the blocks, or even I've had clients that are putting in a compensation claim, and it might be something that is bringing up a lot of emotion for them. So to clear the emotion, to clear the fears, to clear the blocks, and to start with what would be an ideal situation for them. So I help them with all their options and work out what is the most, everything going perfectly, what is a dream settlement, or what is their dream business, how does that look, and how can they make sure they've got their forms right for that dream business, or how can they separate from their ex-husband to make sure that they're doing it peacefully, smoothly, harmoniously, so that they can have a win-win settlement and they can have a very smooth life transition for their children. So these things are very important for stability, for peace of mind. And what happens in my experience when people see a lawyer and then there's another party involved, and especially if litigation's been threatened, people get very scared. They think they need their own lawyer, which is often true. It's not always true though. Sometimes they think they need a lawyer, but actually they just need to understand what their options are, and then they need to focus on what the best possible solution is. So that's a little bit of information about what is a tantric lawyer. Someone that combines all the skills. So in addition to the ones that I've mentioned, there's also the Akashic records of your soul. So one of the things about law is it's three-dimensional. It only considers things from a three-dimensional perspective, a material perspective, a monetary perspective. It doesn't take into account factors like family harmony, or harmony if you're friends with someone you're in business with and you want to part harmoniously, or you want to set up or sell your company and you want to work with the seller of your company and you want to make sure there's no issues standing in the way. So I've had real examples of clients with all the things that I've mentioned. I've helped people through these transitions with both the legal stuff and with the emotional stuff. So obviously the legal stuff has been limited to the jurisdiction in which I've been practicing, but law is law, people are people, love is love, anger is anger, sadness is sadness, business is business. So the work I found during COVID was quite easily and successfully translatable to other jurisdictions where the client might be in Hawaii or in America, and they've got a situation, for example, where the woman contacted me because she was having issues with her ex and their child. Wow, that's some thunder in the background. And she thought she needed to go to court, get a restraining order. It was all going to cost like thousands and thousands of dollars, and she'd have to stop her ex from seeing their child. In working with me in one session, we looked at what he was doing that was outside of their agreement, and she wrote a very strong letter, and I tweaked it and I amended it and I sent it back to her, and she sent it, and it was just accepted. So things were able to proceed on an even keel. He followed that agreement, and I gave her some suggestions that she could get it registered, she could get it drawn up in her jurisdiction properly by a lawyer in her jurisdiction. And so that was up to her, but at least she had that agreement for her and her ex-partner. So there's many, many examples, but I don't want to make this too long. So I'll just mention one more, and that was with some company directors that started off as good friends. They did a project together, a property development project, and then they fell out. I won't go into all the details, but it ended up with litigation being threatened, and they thought it was the only option. So I was acting there were two directors that I looked at the finances and the emails on their behalf, and I said to them, look, you know, it's not worth litigating this. Like the dispute, it felt like there was a misunderstood communications, which is actually often the case. It's not unusual. So what I suggested was mediation, and there was more advice to it, but the important part of it was that they had mediation, and I referred them to somebody because I was working for one of the parties, so it wouldn't have been appropriate for me to be the mediator, even though I'm a qualified mediator. I referred them to somebody who was registered that I knew, and although it almost didn't settle at mediation, at one point one of the parties walked away. He came back and they were able to reach an agreement with like very amicable hugs and tears, and it got drawn up. So these are just a couple of examples, but as I said, there's many, many examples of how a tantric lawyer can help you. And if it's not you, maybe you know somebody who's going through something, or maybe there's a business that your friend's got and they're worried about being sued. They need their consent forms looked at. They need to make sure they're comprehensive. So these are all things that I have helped with, and there's all kinds of circumstances, but my specialty is obviously where there are crossovers between law and other sort of other issues going on. So thank you very much for listening, and all my contact details are below. Ways that you can contact me, ways that you can come into my free group. As I said, there's a free gift, there's a fun quiz, and I look forward to seeing you another time. Lots and lots of love, and thanks again for listening.